If you take people like Jay-Z and fucking Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the fuck they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, oh, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, I think they'd go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars.
Man.
Liars are now the face of our culture.
I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes. Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it.
These Epstein files could not have dropped at a messier time for the Carters. Seriously bad timing. Jay-Z has been catching heat non-stop ever since Diddy got locked up, and now his name popping up in those files has people side-eyeing hard. Insiders are whispering that Beyonce is beyond fed up, like completely checked out, and rumors say she dipped to Iraq or Qatar or somewhere in the Middle East, with photos online trying to prove it. Nothing official confirms she moved out, but the streets are buzzing that Jay-Z's clock is ticking fast. On top of that, reports already claimed he spoke to a divorce lawyer during the whole Diddy chaos, and folks say they've basically been living separate lives since then, just playing public couple when needed. Beyonce allegedly saw this storm coming, knowing those files were about to explode, so she moved smart. Dropping projects back to back, stacking businesses, touring everywhere, securing every bag in sight before the fallout hits full force.
Reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it, and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. Yeah, I might have to ask Jason Lee. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce him. Okay, and she may or may not do an interview, but you're gonna their publicist is gonna release something. She's gonna say, oh, the Carters have been separated for some time, they built this beautiful life, blah 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 blah. Now, before all this happens, we may get another tour, we may get another album out of both of them. I don't know, because at the end of the day, they about their money first. They're gonna do what's best for business first. As far as Beyonce is concerned, do she love him? I mean, he's really all that she knows.
Ever since Jay-Z's name got dragged into that lawsuit with Busby, nothing has been smooth for him, not even close. It's been one legal headache after another, non-stop pressure, non-stop headlines, and insiders claim he's been in full panic mode ever since Diddy got exposed and hauled off to prison. People around him say the fear is real, like he knows more shoes could drop at any moment and there's nowhere to hide from it. At one point, he even tried to distance himself by saying he didn't really know Diddy, which shocked a lot of people because they've been photographed together for decades at parties, award shows, and private events. In court filings, he also argued that his connection to Diddy hurt his business, claiming banks suddenly didn't want to lend him money because they saw him as a reputational risk, which is wild considering how powerful he's always been in the industry. Now, critics are saying that explanation sounds more like damage control than truth, and the internet is not letting it slide at all. Then came the Epstein file drop, and that's when things got even darker. A woman alleged that back in 1996, she was abducted from her home and later woke up inside Epstein's Florida mansion, claiming she saw Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, Jay-Z's real name, present while Weinstein assaulted her. The allegation sent shockwaves online because it's not the first time Jay-Z's name has been tied to something this disturbing, and people immediately started connecting dots from past accusations. Many pointed out how similar this sounds to the claims in Busby's lawsuit, where Jay-Z was accused alongside Diddy of assaulting a girl at a party, a story that already caused huge controversy. And unlike situations where he could say he didn't know someone, distancing himself from Harvey Weinstein is much harder because there are tons of photos of them together over the years, smiling side by side at elite events. Weinstein even handled PR connected to Jay-Z back in 2017, which makes the connection impossible to ignore, and has critics saying this situation is way bigger than anyone expected.
And your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Well, then can I ask you about mass incarceration?
Some people online are arguing that the alleged incident couldn't be true because it supposedly happened in 1996, before Jay-Z was famous, but that logic doesn't really hold up. Just because he wasn't a global superstar yet doesn't mean he was unknown or powerless. Reports say he was already moving in circles with wealthy and influential figures long before his music career exploded, building connections behind the scenes while hustling in other ways. Back then, he was allegedly involved in selling nose candy, which suggests he had access to moneyed crowds and private spaces most regular people never see. During that same era, his life was anything but quiet. He was reportedly shot at multiple times, and people from his old neighborhood say the environment around him was intense and dangerous. One former associate was later sentenced to prison on drug and weapons charges, and locals knew Jay by a different nickname before the world ever heard JayZ. As his career began gaining traction, he rebranded himself, sharpening his image and stepping into a more polished identity, something other moguls have done too. Sean Puff Daddy Combs followed a similar playbook, climbing from the streets into elite boardrooms after being embraced by powerful executives like Clive Davis. So the idea that Jay-Z could have been introduced to major players early on doesn't sound impossible at all. And let's be real, Harvey Weinstein was one of the most dominant figures in Hollywood during the 1990s, practically a gatekeeper to fame and fortune. If Jay-Z was networking aggressively, crossing paths with someone like Weinstein wouldn't be shocking on its own. Still, once these allegations resurfaced, the internet went into absolute meltdown mode. Social media trackers claimed Beyoncé's follower count dropped by millions almost overnight, while Jay-Z's numbers reportedly plunged even harder, which people interpreted as a public backlash happening in real time. Whether those numbers are exact or not, the perception alone fueled the chaos and made it look like a rapid fall from grace. Of course, 50 Cent wasted no time jumping into the drama, posting jokes and taunts the second Jay-Z's name started trending. He even shared an edited image comparing Jay to a movie monster and captioned it with sarcastic commentary, basically daring fans to defend him while laughing at the situation. The trolling spread fast, adding gasoline to an already raging online firestorm. What really caught people off guard, though, was Jay-Z's silence. When the Tony Busby lawsuit surfaced linking him to Diddy, he responded almost immediately with a firm denial, promising to defend his reputation at all costs. So with something as explosive as Epstein-related allegations circulating, many expected another swift statement, maybe even stronger than before. Instead, there has been little to no direct response, which only made speculation grow louder. Rumors started swirling that powerful media outlets were avoiding the story altogether, with some claiming posts were quietly removed minutes after going live. Major entertainment publications have barely mentioned his name in connection with the files, which critics say feels unusual given how quickly they normally report celebrity scandals. There are also claims that legal warnings are being sent to people who speak too boldly about it, though none of that has been officially confirmed. One high-profile figure, Nicki Minaj, stirred even more controversy after posting an old photo of Jay with Aaliyah and Beyonce from their younger years, while accusing him of disturbing behavior, a move that instantly ignited fierce debate across fan bases and made the situation feel even more explosive.
He taught me how to be a woman. He taught me how to live. He taught me how to be a friend. You given me so much in life, and this is not enough. It's not enough I can give you. I just want you to be happy. And every year, I'm even more in love with you. And I want to spend every day of my life.
And the alleged silence hasn't just been from media outlets. People started watching social media like hawks, noticing who was distancing themselves and who stayed quiet. Fans quickly pointed out that Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's own mother, appeared to unfollow Jay-Z, and that alone sent shockwaves through the internet, because family moves usually speak louder than press statements. Then more names got dragged into the conversation, with users claiming that celebrities like Kim Kardashian, Kelly Rowland, and Megan Thee Stallion also pulled back online, while companies tied to him, including Apple Music and even the NFL partnership chatter, became part of the rumor mill too. None of this came with clear explanations, which only made people speculate harder and louder. Looking back, critics say there have always been stories that felt uncomfortable or questionable, resurfacing now with fresh attention. One of the most talked about claims involves Rihanna early in her career, with long circulating rumors that she was kept in a room late at night during a meeting when she was still a teenager, though details and accuracy of that story have been heavily debated for years. Some online voices argue their relationship later became personal after business ties formed, while others say there has never been solid proof of wrongdoing, just gossip that refuses to die down. Still, the timing of these old stories reappearing has people dissecting every detail like detectives. Another frequently mentioned topic is Foxy Brown, who worked with Jay-Z when she was very young. Rumors about a possible relationship have floated around hip-hop circles for decades, though nothing has ever been definitively confirmed, and she herself has sent mixed signals over the years. The fact that Knowles referenced the situation in his famous diss track Ether only cemented it into rap folklore, making it one of those stories people keep bringing up whenever tensions rise. Diss tracks exaggerate things for impact, but once a narrative enters pop culture, it can be nearly impossible to erase. Then there's Beyoncé's own timeline, which people are now re-examining with intense scrutiny. She has said in interviews that they were friends for about a year and a half before officially dating, back when she was still a teenager and he was already a grown man in his late 20s. Online debates exploded over what kind of friendship might have looked like, with some defending it as mentorship in the music industry and others questioning the power dynamics involved. It's become one of the most argued over details in their origin story, especially now that every past quote is being replayed and reanalyzed. Adding even more fuel to the conversation is an old clip where Beyoncé speaks about Jay-Z teaching her how to navigate adulthood and the industry, saying he helped her become a woman, which some viewers interpret as romantic guidance, while others see it as professional mentorship. Context matters, but in the court of public opinion, context often gets lost once emotions take over and narratives form. Right now, every resurfaced video, lyric, and photo is being put under a microscope, creating a storm where speculation moves faster than facts, and where silence from the people involved only makes the noise grow louder.
Is Beyonce a reflection of her husband, like you all alluded that Nicki is a reflection of her husband? Keep in mind, Kenneth Petty was 16 when he made the decision that he made. Jay-Z is an adult who has been making a slew of decisions regarding other people, harmful ones at that.
To a lot of people watching from the outside, the whole situation feels deeply uncomfortable, and the whispers just won't stop getting louder. One name that keeps resurfacing is Aaliyah, because Jay-Z was often seen around her when she was still very young and rising fast in the industry. After her marriage to R. Kelly was annulled, rumors spread that Jay-Z was interested in dating her, which allegedly caused tension between him and Damon Dash, who was also close to her at the time. None of that was ever fully confirmed, but in celebrity circles, even rumors can stick like glue and follow people for decades. What really confuses critics is that years later, after disturbing details about R. Kelly's abuse became widely known, Jay-Z still went ahead with collaborative projects with him. Supporters argue that the music industry has a long history of separating art from personal scandals, while detractors say continuing to work together sent the wrong message entirely. Either way, those decisions are now being re-examined under a much harsher spotlight, with people connecting old dots and forming new conclusions. Meanwhile, Beyoncé has had to live under the weight of endless rumors throughout her entire marriage, from cheating allegations to power struggles to secret separations. Observers say she has maintained a calm, polished image through it all, rarely addressing gossip directly and focusing instead on her work and public persona. But lately, fans claim she looks exhausted by the drama, speculating that she may choose to stay quiet and protect herself rather than go down with any potential fallout. Silence, in this case, is being interpreted in 100 different ways depending on who you ask. Insider chatter suggests she has assembled a serious legal team, with some claiming she planned to use a major career rollout as a strategic moment to restructure finances or even separate assets permanently. According to these rumors, Jay-Z supposedly learned about the plan and moved quickly behind the scenes, though there's no verified proof of any of it. Now, with Epstein-related allegations circulating, critics say the pressure is heavier than ever, describing it as a potential breaking point rather than just another scandal cycle. Another shift people are noticing is the absence of powerful allies publicly rushing to his defense, something that once seemed automatic for someone of his stature. In business circles, he has long been viewed as a tough negotiator, with some former partners praising his brilliance and others accusing him of playing hardball to the extreme. Financially, many analysts already consider Beyoncé a powerhouse in her own right, with tours, brand deals, and ventures that could sustain an empire solo if she ever chose that path. Still, not everyone believes a split is coming. Some fans insist their partnership is stronger than it appears and that they've weathered storms before, while others go further and speculate that Beyoncé knows far more about the situation than the public ever will. Right now, opinions are wildly divided, and until either of them speaks directly, the speculation machine is likely to keep running at full speed with no sign of slowing down. After being together for so many years, a lot of people online are saying it's hard to believe Beyoncé wouldn't know at least something about what was going on behind the scenes. When two people build an empire side by side, sharing homes, businesses, friends, and inner circles, critics argue there are very few true secrets left. Supporters push back hard on that idea, though, pointing out that even long marriages can have private corners and that public figures often live extremely compartmentalized lives. Still, the debate keeps raging, with some insisting she must have known everything, and others saying that assumption is unfair and based on pure speculation. Adding another layer of controversy, Beyoncé herself has not been immune to strange accusations over the years. One of the most bizarre claims came from her former drummer, Kimberly Thompson, who filed legal papers alleging intimidation and even dark magic, accusations that made headlines precisely because they sounded so shocking and unusual. Courts ultimately did not substantiate those claims, but the story spread widely online and became part of the long list of rumors attached to Beyoncé's name. Fans dismissed it as baseless, while critics used it to paint her as mysterious or controlling, depending on their narrative. There have also been recurring whispers that she allegedly sabotaged other female artists whom she viewed as competition, a claim that surfaces whenever another singer's career stalls or a collaboration falls through. However, no concrete evidence has ever publicly proven a coordinated effort, and many industry insiders say rivalries in pop music are often exaggerated by fans and media for drama. Beyoncé has also collaborated with numerous women across genres, which supporters point to as proof that the sabotage narrative doesn't hold up under scrutiny. Even so, once a rumor catches fire online, it tends to resurface again and again, no matter how thin the proof is. What makes these accusations stick, according to commentators, is Beyoncé's intensely private personality. She rarely gives unscripted interviews, keeps her inner circle tight, and reveals very little about her personal thoughts, which creates an aura of mystery that people project onto. In the absence of direct explanations, speculation rushes in to fill the silence, turning ordinary business decisions into elaborate conspiracy theories. Some fans admire her discipline and secrecy, seeing it as a power move, while others interpret it as suspicious simply because they don't have access to the full picture. At the end of the day, the conversation says more about public fascination than proven facts. When two megastars dominate culture for decades, every rumor, lawsuit, or old grievance gets magnified 100 times over, whether it holds weight or not. Right now, Beyoncé remains publicly focused on her work, her brand, and her performances, offering no direct response to the noise swirling around her name. Until something concrete emerges, the situation remains a swirl of allegations, denials, fan theories, and internet drama, with truth and speculation tangled together in a way that keeps everyone talking nonstop. Another name that suddenly got pulled into the conversation is former NFL player Larry Johnson, who has made a series of eyebrow-raising claims online over the years. He said that at one point he attended a party connected to Jay-Z and Beyoncé and left feeling deeply unsettled, describing the atmosphere as strange and uncomfortable rather than glamorous like people might expect. The story spread quickly because anytime an athlete or insider hints at behind-the-scenes celebrity life, the public immediately wants to know what really happens once the cameras are gone. Johnson didn't provide concrete details that could be verified, which has led to a split reaction. Some people treat his account as a warning about the excess and secrecy of ultra-elite circles, while others dismiss it as vague storytelling without proof. Critics point out that celebrity parties are often exaggerated in retellings, especially years later, and that discomfort alone doesn't automatically mean anything sinister happened. Still, the phrase super disturbed caught attention because it paints a picture of something far from a normal industry gathering. What fuels the intrigue even more is how mysterious high-profile private events already are. Invitations are tightly controlled, phones are sometimes restricted, and guests are often bound by unspoken rules about what can be shared publicly. That secrecy creates a vacuum where rumors grow wild, because when nobody on the inside speaks clearly, outsiders fill in the blanks with imagination and speculation. Some attendees later describe these gatherings as boring business networking, while others portray them as surreal experiences filled with powerful people letting their guard down. The truth probably varies from event to event, but the mystique remains strong.
I don't want to have anything to do with this person at all. I don't want to work with them. I'm even embarrassed that I have worked with them because it's literally shattered everything that I've tried to build after doing that work in my life. If I have always said when I was a kid, I never would want to regret anything, but this I regret. I regret that we ever worked together because it's turned my life completely upside down. She's not been able to let me go. She's not been able to let me progress into a mature woman.
Supporters of Jay-Z and Beyoncé argue that being famous automatically makes them targets for sensational stories, especially from individuals looking for attention or relevance. They say extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and so far, there has been none that conclusively backs up Johnson's version of events. On the other hand, skeptics counter that powerful figures often operate behind layers of influence that make verification difficult, so lack of proof doesn't necessarily equal innocence either. This tug-of-war between belief and doubt keeps the narrative alive long after the original statement fades. It's also worth noting that Johnson has previously made other controversial statements unrelated to this topic, which some observers say affects how seriously his claims are taken. Public credibility plays a huge role in whether stories gain traction or get brushed aside, especially in the social media era where context is often missing. Even so, once a story involving megastars enters the rumor mill, it rarely disappears completely. Clips get reposted, quotes get recycled, and each new controversy brings old allegations back into the spotlight again. In the end, his account adds yet another layer to an already chaotic narrative, one built from fragments of testimony, speculation, fan theories, and selective memory. Without verifiable details, it remains a story that sparks curiosity, but also skepticism, leaving observers to decide for themselves what sounds plausible and what feels like exaggeration in a world where celebrity myth and reality are constantly blurred. As the chatter kept getting louder, more former insiders and hangers-on started hinting that what the public sees is only the polished version of a much bigger machine. People online began swapping stories about exclusive guest lists, last-minute invitations, and NDAs that allegedly get handed out like party favors at certain elite gatherings. Whether true or exaggerated, the idea that there's a hidden layer to celebrity life had folks glued to their screens trying to decode every rumor like it was a puzzle piece to something huge. At the same time, fans noticed how carefully controlled everything around the couple suddenly felt, from public appearances to social media activity. Every post, every photo, every absence started getting analyzed frame by frame, like detectives hunting for clues in plain sight. Some said the silence meant crisis management was in full swing, while others argued it was just two megastars protecting their peace from nonstop chaos. Either way, the lack of clear answers only made the speculation spiral even harder. Industry watchers also pointed out how business moves can reveal more than statements ever will. Partnerships going quiet, collaborations stalling, and sudden schedule changes had people whispering that something serious might be unfolding behind closed doors. In the entertainment world, money flows usually speak louder than gossip, so when deals slow down or disappear, observers start connecting dots fast. Of course, none of that confirms anything on its own, but perception can be just as powerful as proof in the court of public opinion. Meanwhile, loyal fans jumped in to defend the couple, reminding everyone that they've survived scandals, cheating rumors, and public feuds before and still came out stronger. They argue that two people who built a billion-dollar empire together aren't going to crumble over internet noise alone. Supporters say the pair has always played the long game, staying quiet until they're ready to speak on their own terms, if they speak at all. That strategy has worked for them in the past, turning controversy into chart-topping albums and sold-out tours. But critics aren't buying the calm narrative, claiming the situation feels different, heavier, like something that can't just be brushed off with a surprise release or carefully crafted statement. They point to the growing pile of old stories resurfacing at once, saying it looks less like random gossip and more like a dam finally cracking. In today's viral world, once momentum builds, it can sweep through reputations at lightning speed, no matter how powerful the person involved is. What really keeps the drama alive is the uncertainty about what happens next. Will there be a public denial, a legal counterattack, or total silence while lawyers handle everything behind the scenes? Nobody knows, and that mystery has turned the situation into non-stop headline fuel, with new theories popping up by the hour. Until something concrete emerges, the world is stuck watching, refreshing feeds, and arguing in comment sections, waiting for the next twist in a story that already feels bigger than entertainment gossip, and closer to a full-blown cultural spectacle. As days passed with no clear statement, the tension only got thicker, like everyone was waiting for a bombshell that refused to drop. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds, with supporters, skeptics, and casual onlookers all clashing over what they believed was really happening behind closed doors. Some insisted the silence meant lawyers were working overtime, crafting the perfect response, while others took it as a sign that the situation was too explosive to address publicly. Either way, the longer the quiet stretched on, the louder the noise around it became. Paparazzi photos didn't help calm anything either. Every sighting of Jay-Z alone sparked fresh rumors about separation, crisis meetings, or secret negotiations, while any appearance of Beyoncé without him set off another wave of speculation that something had shifted for real. Even ordinary moments, getting in a car, leaving a building, attending an event, were dissected like coded messages. In the age of viral clips, nothing stays small, and every tiny detail can turn into a trending narrative overnight. Behind the scenes, industry insiders reportedly started choosing their words very carefully whenever his name came up. Some avoided the topic entirely. Others gave vague answers about focusing on positive projects, which only fueled the idea that nobody wanted to step into the line of fire. In Hollywood and the music business, reputation is currency, and people tend to distance themselves fast when controversy threatens to spill over onto them too. It's less about loyalty and more about survival in a world where public perception can make or break careers overnight.
And then out of nowhere came these young children. I don't know where they came from. For a rap party at 11 o'clock at night, drinking loud music and us dancing wild. Like, I don't know where these kids came from. And then I happened to sit down because I was dancing with one of the assistants. And I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyonce. So I hear B say something about, doesn't this look sexy? Or isn't this sexy? And in my mind,
Meanwhile, conspiracy theories exploded into overdrive, dragging in everything from old lyrics to past award show moments as supposed clues that something dark had been hiding in plain sight all along. Fans replayed interviews from years ago, slowed down videos, and analyzed body language like forensic experts, convinced they could spot signs everyone else missed. Most of it was probably overinterpretation, but once a narrative grabs hold online, logic often takes a backseat to emotion and imagination. Still, there were also voices urging caution, reminding people that rumors can spiral far beyond reality and cause real damage, even if they're never proven true. Legal experts pointed out that high-profile figures often stay silent specifically to avoid worsening potential cases, not because they have something to hide. Others noted that the internet has a short attention span, and today's outrage can become tomorrow's forgotten headline in a matter of weeks. For now, the situation feels like a pressure cooker, with the lid rattling but not lifting. Everyone senses that something significant could happen, a statement, a lawsuit, a major reveal, yet nothing definitive has arrived. Until that moment comes, the story lives in limbo, fueled by speculation, amplified by social media, and watched by millions who can't seem to look away from a saga that feels part celebrity drama, part mystery, and part cautionary tale about fame in the digital age.
Then came the ripple effect that nobody could ignore. The way brands, sponsors, and corporate partners suddenly started moving a little differently. Companies that once proudly showcased their connections grew quieter, promotional posts slowed down, and some campaigns quietly shifted focus as if trying not to attract attention. In the business world, even subtle changes can signal major concern, and observers immediately interpreted the shift as damage control happening in real time. No official statements, no dramatic announcements, just a noticeable cooling of enthusiasm that spoke volumes without saying a word. At the same time, streaming numbers, ticket chatter, and public engagement became part of the conversation too. Analysts and fans alike began tracking whether listeners were pulling back or rallying harder in support, turning charts and metrics into a scoreboard for public opinion. Some argued controversy only makes stars bigger because curiosity drives clicks, while others believe reputational damage eventually seeps into everything, including sales and partnerships. The truth often lands somewhere in the middle, but during a storm like this, every number gets scrutinized like it holds the final verdict. Inside celebrity circles, whispers reportedly turned into strategy talks about who should speak up and who should stay far away from the situation. Friends risk guilt by association, critics risk backlash, and neutral parties risk being dragged in anyway, so many choose silence as the safest option. It creates this eerie vacuum where nobody with real insider knowledge is saying anything publicly, leaving the narrative to be shaped almost entirely by speculation and secondhand claims. That vacuum is exactly where rumors grow the fastest and wildest.
Meanwhile, longtime observers noted how carefully Jay-Z himself has managed crises in the past, often choosing calculated moves over emotional reactions. He built his empire on patience and positioning, rarely rushing into public fights unless absolutely necessary. Supporters believe he's following that same blueprint now, letting the noise burn itself out while preparing a precise response behind the scenes. Critics, however, say the scale of this controversy may be too large for the usual playbook to work, arguing that silence can sometimes look like avoidance instead of strategy. Beyoncé's stance continues to be the biggest mystery of all. Every appearance, outfit choice, or lack of comment gets interpreted as either quiet support or quiet separation, depending on who is watching. Some fans insist she's standing strong beside her husband, while others believe she's focusing solely on protecting her own legacy and future. Because she communicates so sparingly, even the smallest signal becomes headline material, magnified far beyond what it would mean for a less famous person. What makes the situation feel so tense is the sense that everyone is waiting for a decisive moment that hasn't arrived yet. A legal filing, a televised statement, a surprise move, something that transforms speculation into confirmed reality. Until then, the story keeps stretching, twisting, and mutating as new voices jump in and old rumors resurface. It's like watching storm clouds circle without rain, heavy with the promise of something dramatic, leaving the public bracing for impact while wondering if the thunder will ever actually strike.
By this point, the situation had turned into a full-blown spectacle, with news cycles, podcasts, live streams, and gossip pages all feeding off the same storm of uncertainty. Every hour seemed to bring a new development, even when nothing concrete had actually changed, proving just how hungry the public was for answers. Commentators debated everything from legal outcomes to relationship status to career survival, each one sounding more dramatic than the last. It stopped feeling like a single controversy and started looking like a domino chain that just wouldn't stop falling. What really intensified the frenzy was how older clips, lyrics, and interviews kept resurfacing out of nowhere. Moments that once seemed harmless were suddenly being reframed as suspicious or symbolic, as if people were rewriting history in real time. Social media detectives stitched together montages, slowed down footage, and highlighted random lines from songs, claiming they revealed hidden truths. Whether meaningful or not, the sheer volume of recycled material made it seem like the past itself was rising up to haunt the present. At the same time, legal experts began popping up across media platforms, explaining how high-profile cases often move slowly and quietly, despite loud public pressure. They emphasize that investigations, if any exist, don't play out on social media timelines, and that silence from attorneys is usually intentional rather than accidental. Still, that rational explanation struggled to compete with the emotional energy online, where people wanted instant clarity, instant justice, or instant vindication depending on their stance. Patience is rarely popular when drama is this intense.
What's really crazy is that the Shade Room just posted this and then immediately took it down. It's no longer on their page. I just screenshotted it because I was going through my stuff, and when I went to look at the comments, it was like unable to load. They took the post down.
Another factor keeping the tension sky high was the uncertainty about long-term consequences. Would this fade like past scandals, or would it permanently reshape legacies built over decades? For artists whose brands are intertwined with culture itself, reputation isn't just personal. It's financial, historical, and symbolic all at once. Entire teams of managers, lawyers, investors, and collaborators have stakes in the outcome, which raises the pressure far beyond ordinary celebrity gossip. The bigger the empire, the louder the tremors when something shakes it. Meanwhile, a quieter conversation began emerging about the cost of fame itself. Some observers argued that living under constant scrutiny means even unproven claims can become part of a person's permanent narrative. Others countered that enormous influence comes with enormous accountability, and public figures can't expect privacy when their power affects so many people. That philosophical tug-of-war added depth to what might otherwise look like pure tabloid drama, turning it into a broader debate about celebrity, power, and public trust. For now, everything remains suspended in a strange in-between state. Not resolved, not escalating in a clear direction, just hovering like a storm that refuses to move on. People keep watching, refreshing feeds, scanning headlines, waiting for the moment when uncertainty finally gives way to something definite. Until that happens, the story continues to live in speculation, fueled by curiosity, anxiety, outrage, and fascination all at once, proving that in the modern era, sometimes the suspense itself becomes the biggest headline of all. As the weeks dragged on, the conversation started shifting from shock to something more intense, anticipation mixed with exhaustion. People weren't just reacting anymore, they were bracing, waiting for a turning point that would finally explain everything or blow the story wide open. Online forums, group chats, and comment sections turned into round-the-clock watch parties, with users dissecting even the smallest rumor like it might be the missing piece of a giant puzzle. The sense that something bigger is coming hung in the air like static before a lightning strike. Meanwhile, public appearances became rare and highly controlled, which only made them more explosive when they did happen. If Jay-Z showed up somewhere, cameras zoomed in for signs of stress, confidence, or defiance, while Beyoncé sightings triggered a whole different wave of interpretation about her mood, body language, and who was or wasn't by her side. Even neutral expressions got turned into headlines, proving how impossible it is for megastars to exist quietly once controversy reaches this level. Every step outside felt like stepping onto a stage, whether they wanted it or not. Behind the scenes, insiders reportedly described an atmosphere of extreme caution, with teams double-checking statements, appearances, and business moves to avoid making any worse. Crisis management at that scale isn't just about public relations. It involves legal strategy, financial protection, and long-term brand survival all at once. One wrong move can trigger lawsuits, partner withdrawals, or market backlash, so decisions get slower and more calculated than ever. To outsiders, it looks like silence, but internally, it can feel like non-stop emergency mode. At the same time, critics began questioning whether silence actually protects reputations or quietly erodes them over time. Without a clear narrative from the people involved, others fill the gap with their own versions, and those versions can become accepted as truth simply through repetition. Supporters argue that responding to every rumor would only legitimize them, while detractors say refusing to address serious claims makes things look worse. It's a no-win situation where every option carries risk, and doing nothing can be just as controversial as doing something. Another unexpected twist was how the story started overshadowing unrelated events in entertainment and pop culture. New releases, award shows, and major announcements struggled to dominate headlines because this saga kept pulling attention back like a magnet. It showed just how powerful a single unresolved controversy can be when it involves figures whose influence spans music, business, sports, and fashion all at once. The ripple effects reached far beyond one couple, touching industries that depend on stability and positive publicity. Now the mood feels less like chaos and more like a countdown, even though nobody knows what the clock is set to. Will there be a definitive revelation, a legal resolution, or a quiet fade into the background? For millions watching, the uncertainty itself has become addictive, a real-time drama with no script and no release date for the finale. Until something concrete finally lands, the world remains stuck in suspense, eyes locked on a story that refuses to end, and a mystery that keeps rewriting itself with every passing day. Another voice that resurfaced in the middle of all this chaos was Khadijah Sherry, a former dancer who worked on the Formation era, and she didn't hold back at all. She went online with explosive claims, alleging disturbing things about her personal life after working around Beyoncé's team, and her posts instantly lit up certain corners of the internet. Supporters rushed to defend Beyoncé, questioning the credibility and timing, while critics argued that former insiders rarely speak out unless something pushed them to the edge. As with so many stories in this saga, hard proof was scarce, but the shock value alone kept the conversation alive. What stood out to many observers was how little mainstream attention those allegations received compared to other celebrity controversies. Some fans said that's because Beyoncé has built an almost untouchable reputation over decades of success, discipline, and carefully controlled public appearances. Others argued that fame can act like armor, making it harder for accusations to gain traction unless they're backed by undeniable evidence. Either way, the perception that the story was being ignored fueled claims of double standards, with critics insisting that any other celebrity would have faced wall-to-wall coverage. There's also a growing narrative that the couple's long partnership means they likely know each other's secrets, business dealings, and vulnerabilities inside out. People speculate that untangling lives so deeply intertwined, financially, professionally, and personally, is far more complicated than simply walking away. Billion-dollar brands, shared ventures, family ties, and public image all get wrapped into the equation, turning a private relationship into something closer to a corporate merger. That complexity makes every rumor about separation feel like it could trigger massive ripple effects across industries.
Some voices online have gone further, arguing that public figures shouldn't receive automatic sympathy if controversies escalate, especially when they've held enormous influence for years. Others strongly reject that view, saying guilt by association is unfair and that speculation should never replace verified facts. The debate has grown increasingly heated, with both sides convinced they're calling out either injustice or misinformation. It shows how quickly celebs shift from admiration to intense scrutiny when trust appears shaken. Another uncomfortable truth is how differently people react depending on who is involved. Supporters claim that personal bias, whether love for an artist or distrust of them, shapes how stories are interpreted long before evidence enters the picture. Critics counter that powerful figures often benefit from loyal fan bases that defend them no matter what, making accountability harder to achieve. This push and pull has become one of the defining features of the entire situation. Not long ago, anyone suggesting this level of turmoil around such a dominant power couple might have been dismissed outright. But now, even wild theories are getting second looks, simply because the atmosphere feels so uncertain. Whether this moment marks a temporary storm or the beginning of a major shift remains unclear. But one thing is certain, the world is watching closely, debating fiercely, and waiting to see whether the Carter Empire bends, breaks, or somehow emerges stronger than ever.